Thanks and congratulations on being award winners and winners of the Learning Council's National Digital Transformation Survey. So I'm going to get started. We've got a few questions. We're going to run through those and share your knowledge. So first question is, give us an idea of your district or school's proudest accomplishments, given your awards.
Gee, thanks. Our proudest accomplishments. So I guess the place to start is with the people. We can't get anything done without their understanding and their shared vision for where we are going. Very blurry to begin with. Thank you for pointing that out earlier. Mr. Godfrey, we've literally transformed all of our resources to a digital format using our partners, ClassLink and Blackboard. Little plug for them for there for them. The work was not easy. We had a number of folks who were married to their curriculum guides, their booklets, and the things they have done for many, many years. And really, we were at a place where we were able to express how debilitating that was as opposed to freeing. And so that transformation that started in 2014 and continues today is really where probably I would say our biggest goal, our achievement is. In my school district, we are a K-12, pre-K-12 division, and we have 947 courses over which I'm responsible. It is job security for a lifetime, no doubt. But we've got folks who are on board now and making that process and product more accessible to community members, obviously to our staff, and pushing it down to the kids. So I think that's probably our biggest success.
Awesome. When I first came to the district as a principal, my schools primarily served 3 trailer courts and an apartment house. And if I drive literally across the tracks to another school, there was a stark difference in what was available. And so our superintendent and our board engaged in a process. And what came out of that, our superintendent, Dr. Don Haddad, said, we do not want the quality of a child's education to depend upon their zip code or their neighborhood. And then we furthered that or to the master schedule, because you know how your master schedule reflects what you value. And we went through a process of really transforming our district. And now we are a system. We are no longer a district of schools. We are a true school district. And digital content, digital learning has elevated the playing field for all of our students to get that really, really rigorous, high-quality education that gives them a competitive advantage.
Well, the biggest for my school district was support of the school board. School board is very supportive of our initiative. Without them, we wouldn't have been where we are. We started in 2010, and we started with a few devices, but now I'm proud to say that we have a one-to-one initiative through our school district. I would say that we have had that probably 7 going to 8 years. And we have partnered with Blackboard, our student information system, real time. We developed an app. We have that app. We want parents to know exactly what is going on into the classroom. Like for some students, they wouldn't allow their parent to know if they came to school late, if they cut class, if there is an infraction, but we have reached out to parents, make it a duty, give them a password, their own account. They're able to go into the app and see exactly what is going on in terms of student grades. If they can set the threshold, that is, I want to know if my child's grade drops below an 80%, I will get an alert. If my child hasn't turned in his or her homework, the system, the app is going to alert the parent, and the parent is going to confront the student when he or she gets home. So all of the good things that we are doing in the school district, and I'm proud that we, in terms of 21st century, we are up there making sure that students attain the best skills that they need. And we last year we won an award for college readiness, and we are on pace to making sure that we repeat that. And also our graduation rate is between 98 to 99%. Most of our students are graduating and they are going to college.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks. So thinking about what your path has been, what are some of the barriers that you've encountered with people or technology as you move through creating this digital transition?
Well, I will start by saying that, and I did make mention of that in one of our rounds yesterday. Most instructors are resistant to changes. So when you roll out a new initiative, getting instructors to make a change, to adapt to the new changes that is going to help the students, it's not about you as the educator. It's for little Johnny who is out there. And I will give an example. I have been teaching engineering and computer science. So I don't teach anymore. So there was this teacher that I heard a constant battling between this student and this teacher. So I pulled the student once in my office and I spoke to the student, tried to feel as to what's going on. So the student broke down to me and told me that she was self-read. Her parents had to work, so she had to go into the neighbor's house. And everything she learned that from the street or she learned from the other people. So when she told me that, it broke me apart. And I adapted to this kid. I always welcome her. I would give her the candies and all the stuff. So when I was walking by and I heard a constant battle in this classroom, I looked through the window and I went into the classroom. And I went to the teacher. I said, "Can I talk to you?" I pulled the student out of my room and I talked to the student. I said, "I know what you've been through. I know everything. So what I need you to do, just go back. I'll talk to the teacher." So after that, I pulled the teacher out. I talked to the teacher about the student background. And I decided to set up a meeting so that the three of us can dialogue. And being that I've already explained what was going on to the student, this teacher went back and she adapted herself to the student, thinking of where she has come from. And now this student who was not turning in homework, who was probably failed in the class, I have checked her grades, she's up in the 80th percentile.
Wow, that's fantastic. Nice.
If you take a look at educational history, you'll remember that chalkboards and slates were very controversial when they first came out. They thought it was going to ruin education. And so when you think about technology and technology integration, digital learning systems, that just the change of it, I'll echo what you said, for our teachers, some of our parents. And what we found is that they were low in number, but very high in emotion and voice. And so some of those folks, we are just able to get into our schools and say, why don't you take a look at what your child's actually doing? Not necessarily what's going on at home, which we can't control, but let's look what they're doing. And that really helped us a lot with this and get a lot of people on board with what we're doing. So those two, but again, we don't hardly hear that anymore. That was 6-7 years ago. So it really is, again, getting that paradigm, becoming more student-centered, learning about workflows, Leonie. I think and that's why I appreciate coming here, is because that really always challenges my thinking. And really, I was like, wow, I got to think about this for a while.
So I don't think our obstacles and challenges were any different. Change is definitely at the forefront, but probably the thing that helped me help the process along better was partnering with my IT office. The teachers were married to their books and their folders and notebooks and et cetera. And so that push from my superintendent and from me about seeing the light, that took a while, but people did. But they were very quick to blame me when their infrastructure didn't work. And so partnering with my IT office and seeing how they played an integral role in making sure we were all successful really gave a division of our school system ownership of what happens in the classroom that they had never felt before. So kudos to the IT folks that are sitting here. Work with your curriculum offices and see, what you can do more of. That's the conversation we have now, as opposed to putting the no in school or in technology. Oh, they're actually looking for ways before I need that way to make it work.
That's awesome. That's a great partnership. So thank you for that. So what, thinking about the future and using your crystal ball, what's your vision for the future as you move in your system?
I got to be honest, I come to conferences like this to get a little bit of clarity about what it can be. Some of my daily life winds up being nuts and bolts and making things work. But to see some of the slides, especially from this morning in the VR and VI and IA and UI and X, I got acronyms out the yin yang right now in my book today, probably all of you too. There is got to be the understanding and the belief that the kids that are sitting in our classroom, we're training them for something that doesn't exist, and it's not later, it's in a couple of years. And so that is very hard to transform educators who in some cases have been in 30, 40 years to see that. So my vision is to help folks teach for tomorrow, not for today, and to somehow help them see how they are an integral part of that transition.
Part of the vision that we're seeing is really around student choice and igniting passion. And how does that look like when you still want a very strong foundation of academics and pursue innovation at the same time? And that's something that we're very committed towards. I think that we're going to see some more of the workflow pathways happening. We had a discussion already this morning about, I think I have some low-hanging fruit with a computer science that we can do this with. Just got the wheels turning with that. Some of the summer schools, we're already doing some of this almost competency-based individual pathways with that's really transformed and really helped out with our graduation rates. And now we're doing it. Now we've invested it into the day as well. And I think we're just going to see the advent of that as we keep going on.
Well, for me, the future is now. It's not tomorrow. There are a lot of approaches we need to take in moving forward to adapting to that future that is now and not tomorrow. We as educators, what we need to do is to make sure that with all the gadgets that are around, VR, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, we need to get, most especially, the females involved. I might be wrong, but statistics, I think about 7.9% of those taking STEM courses are females. And you have 26, I think 26.9, 26.3, I don't know the exact figure, but it should be around in that ballpark. So we as educators, what are we doing to attract the females to compete with the male population? In terms of STEM, engineering, it's not only limited for a guy, that's not a guy stuff. But we need to do more in the school, in this institution, to attract the female population. So as we have come to this conference, as we leave from here and go back, let's have after-school programs. Like my district, we were awarded with I think 1.2 or 1.5 billion dollars for the Century 21. So we are using that fund for various activities, after-school activities. And two of the programs I'm going to be running will be robotics and drones. And my goal is to target the female population. So we need to put a lot of gadgets around that is going to attract them into the future. It's now, it's not tomorrow.
Great, thank you. So the next question is interesting, and so this is one that's been rolling around for a long time, and we've been talking about personalized learning and personalization of experiences and things like that all weekend, and it's an ongoing conversation with everyone, and in fact everyone in the room has been wrestling with that. So there's still a lot of confusion out there in the field and out in the wild about personalized learning, and so I'd like to hear from each of you. What is your take on that? How do you describe and define and characterize that?
Well, to personalize a learning for a cohort or a student, differentiation plays a huge role into that because we have different learners. They learn differently. There are some who are visual, there are some who are auditory, and we can go on. But if we actually look at what is going to get the attention of a specific student into a specific content area, and not try to force a student to run away from a course in terms of having an instructor in the room who is going to present that course in a different way that is not going to be differentiated as compared to Mr. Charles, who is a teacher that has been teaching for 26 years. His method of differentiation and the way in which he's going to interact with the student, personalizing the instruction for that student, we afford the student to even want to take an advanced course such as AP courses that is going to go down well with the student when he or she gets to the credit courses.
For me, personalized learning really starts with student choice. So if you can really ignite student passion and choice, so it's a bit of a different take. And I appreciate what you said. But if you can create pathways for students to really get engaged in their learning, to own their learning, I think you're going to see your graduation rates go up, everything. They're going to be wanting to do in school 24/7. And that's really huge if you have them motivated to do that. So think about those pathways, different things you can do. You know, I was really happy to hear about the Dallas school district last night getting their P-Tech. We're going to have our first P-Tech graduating students. Not only they're the minority students that are some of the first to graduate from high school, they're going to be getting an AA degree, and they've already had a paid internship at IBM, and they're going to be up for a job at IBM. Talk about motivating students for learning. And now we'll have 3 P-Tech schools as just one example of some of the things. You create those pathways for them. You give choice and voice to that. I think, to me, that's really the power. Now, I do believe with AI, we're going to start to see some explosion in personalized learning. I've seen some of the things IBM's doing in higher ed. I've already volunteered when they want to go to K-12. We'll volunteer to do some of the things they're doing. I don't like what they're doing in kindergarten. I'm just telling you right now with the Sesame Street thing. Ugh. But some of the things with AI, I think, are really going to blow up personalized learning.
I wish I would have grabbed the microphone first because what they just said are some of the things I was thinking. So good job. Here's where we stand. The traditional semester courses are not fitting the needs of our students. And so we have a deputy superintendent and superintendent who have literally blown up that traditional take a class for half a year type of thing. The other piece is we are looking a lot at what the standards say, and while it is important that someone, probably me, decides what it is that students need to know and be able to do at the end, we want to insert what the kid thinks they should also know into that process. So to that end, we do now offer in my school system called high engagement passion courses. They're 22 days. They're a quarter class. We have done that now for 2 years, and it is exploding in terms of kids signing up. Some of the challenges that they have are they're required to take some. So in the state of Maryland, you have to have 24 credits to graduate with a high school diploma. We offer 32 credits in our school system if you do the 8 credits a year for the 4 years. So there's lots of opportunities for voice and choice there, of which 6.5 are currently electives, but we have a whole bunch more that kids could stay on and engage in. My point is, to sit in through a 90-day class is challenging for kids. They lose their attention span. I mean, Some of you are on your phones right now. You've lost our attention span. I get that, right? So what we've done is we've broken that down into smaller segments of information. So instead of taking a full year computer class, you take Python. If you like it, then you are allowed to take some other computer language. But if you don't like it, you don't have to continue. So we have a mid-year opportunity to recreate a student's schedule, which is huge. From a scheduling standpoint, it blows everything away, and it puts the onus on the teachers and the principals and the administrator to make that work. But it is really what kids need, and I think that's really the direction where we're going to go. Now we've got some issues with transferability and those issues, but those are adult problems, not kid problems.
Right, for sure. Great distinction, too. Let's give these guys a hand for sharing the information. I'm going to transition us out to lunch here, and then we've got some additional information coming. So thanks very much for your attentiveness.
Thank